Hi, my name is Kaylin Owens, and I chose to do a video response for the final for this course. And I've so enjoyed taking this class and this semester, and here's why I would like to share with you. So I would like to start by defining play. We talked about this towards the beginning of the class. But I would define it as an engaging activity of fun stimulation, which has a lot of individual preferences of what someone can consider fun. May look very different to someone else. One can think imagination and creativity is more fun than a physical activity, or vice versa. So that's how I would define play at this point in time. And then my concept of therapeutic play is being able to help improve one's development or improvement through a healing process. I know therapy is typically used when needing to help heal, either physically, mentally, and with therapeutic play, it's including a stimulation, as mentioned by the definition. It's a stimulation and engagement of something enjoyable to that person while healing. And this brings us to the importance of it, which is making therapy fun. So, kind of like making medicine taste good, it's something that's needed to heal and, excuse me, something that's needed to heal, but in a more pleasurable way. And some of the benefits of therapeutic play are being able to see the development process of children. So when they are younger, you can do certain play activities and see how they're developing more physically than emotionally, but you can also see how they're developing emotionally. And it's expanding activity levels and creative abilities, such as imagination, and as mentioned before, just physical abilities of what kind of barriers are they within on the development process. And it's also a benefit of human connection through something essential and fun. So as the therapeutic play provider, I'm connecting to a human being, whatever age that may be, typically younger. But being able to have that connection with someone, I feel is very important and beneficial to both the patient and the provider. I think that's just a really neat way of being able to connect. And then in all these different abilities of the importance and the benefits of therapeutic play can happen in many different settings. So they can happen typically in therapy offices, wherever, if that is one location, or if the therapy provider goes to many different locations. Typically, hospitals will have therapeutic play, and then also at schools. Schools and home, I feel, can get overlooked a little bit at the start, but I think school is a lot harder to consider therapeutic play. There's a lot of different forms of play and seeing development, but it's not as much therapeutic necessarily. But at home, it's definitely a continuation of what's happening in the therapy sessions transferred over to home, or if one gains the knowledge, excuse me, through a therapeutic play session and wants to just continue it at home, either to help improve. Sometimes it's necessary over time, or and in general, to try to help their children. So next I would like to talk about some personal reflections that I've had going through the class. I've gained a lot, I feel, of good insights just in general of what it takes to be a therapeutic play provider, and what all is considered play. I think it's been really neat to see those things. I've heard of a a good amount of the theories that we went through, but being able to apply them specifically to play has been really neat and interesting, and just an interesting hone in of something psychological that I really enjoy. Um, but yeah, those I think I've been able to just see what all is encapsulated in therapeutic play that I didn't really know about a lot before this class. So some challenges was that this is an online class, so I think I would have gained a lot more if it were in person and were able to do a lot of the activities just like in real time, in real life. I think I gain a lot of experience and knowledge and understanding through action and through doing some of the things, and being able to even see a lot of times can help me in understanding rather than a lot of reading and trying to uh, self understand. Um, but yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is probably just that the disconnect of some of the actual real time activity. Um, Especially, I wanted to touch on um, had I been involved in a lot of therapeutic play with different children, if there was any pushback of the children not wanting to do a certain activity or not wanting to do anything, or struggling and trying to figure out how to make those changes in real time versus what I think I would do, um, could be different. So I think that would be interesting to try to continue looking and working towards. But as of right now, that's been a challenge for trying to see in the class. But overall, I feel like I've seen a lot of growth in my ability to talk about what therapeutic play even is, because from the start, I didn't know necessarily, and also figuring out ways to incorporate therapeutic play in many different forms of what play is. Um, so, with that, I would like to go into the therapeutic play activities that we were able to do through this course. And I have had the chance to make 4 different play activities and set up these therapeutic opportunities for the future if I ever end up using them. So, the first one was actually one that I had seen a close member in my life do with one of their grandchildren. They took a baking sheet and taped little small figurine animals, not figurine, but plastic, like figurine animals on the back of it, and had a farm slash zoo playpen set up, and the grandchild was able to um, remove the animals and free them and set them into the playpen. And in order to do that, they had to have enough hand-eye coordination and strength to tear the tape off and separate them and know that they're putting them in a better place. Um, so this is definitely a more developmental seeing and process, because the child who did it was like 2. Um, so they're still very early in developing certain action abilities, and also the mental connection of, I need to free these animals so that we can play. Making all of those connections was really interesting to see, so I allowed that to be my first play activity. My second one, I believe I chose to do more of an art experience because I have a love for art and trying to figure out emotions. So I did one that was you could pick any colors and you of markers, paint, whatever kind of materials that you want to work with as far as using specifically colors, and allowing the individual to draw their own face. It was doing self-portraits, so we had a mirror and we're able to draw our own faces with the only colors that we picked. And I had personally done one in a time and day that I was feeling a little bit more blue. So I had picked a purplish blue gray for my face. I kept the other parts I kept pretty natural to what they actually look like, but I wanted to make the emphasis of picking blue because in the therapeutic side of this play activity, we would see what color choices we made and connect them to certain emotions or how we may be feeling, and that reflecting through our faces, and that reflecting through what we are portraying from inside out. So that was that one. And then another one I did was a scavenger hunt that would connect with the senses. So some examples of those would be find something soft or squishy, and I could find this, or find something that smells sweet, specifically, and so I have a candle that smells sweet, or find something that tastes sweet, so I have candy. But it was specific to things that would be in a certain environment, so that it doesn't feel like it's there are things that connect with the senses in any environment that you can be in. It could be indoor, it could be outdoor, it can be in a home, it can be in a school, it can be in a hospital, and those things on the scavenger hunt list would change in response to each of those different settings. But I liked the variability that it was able to be over a wide area. And it can be for many different ages, because what one age knows of their senses, another may know more. And it's very individualized too. So you get one sheet for your scavenger hunt and another gets their own personal, and they can check off those personal things that they think are fitting of those certain senses. My last one was therapeutic Jenga. And so I wanted to have the game of Jenga, but each piece would have different questions, and they can vary levels of depth of the questions. It can be, what's your favorite fruit? Or if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Or there could be deeper level, more thought out questions of, what is one favorite thing you do by yourself? Or what was the best gift you ever gave someone? And what's the best gift you ever received? And why? And trying to expand the mind through personal questions. I have some just like examples of cards, which are not Jenga pieces, but they are what inspired the questions and the variability of those questions. But just being able to see more about yourself while also being able to see about other people if they're playing with you. This one could vary in size of the group playing. I wouldn't say to do more than really 3 or 4, because I feel that in a smaller setting you'll be able to potentially be more vulnerable in allowing yourself to answer questions fully and truthfully. And especially if it's therapeutic play, I feel that it would already be smaller. You can do this as just fun with many friends, but in therapeutic play specifically as an activity, I would say to keep it to a smaller group. So yeah, those were all of my activities that I was able to think of and figure out and come up with, and can potentially try some of those in the future. And as far as evaluation with them, I didn't personally get to experience any in real time or physically, except for the first one, and it wasn't through me personally necessarily, but I did get to witness it, got to be a part of some of it. And then the art one I did myself a separate time. So as far as evaluating, I didn't get to actually play them out, but think that they have very good potential of going well. And from what I had seen of the first one and what I did for the second one, I think that they do have a very good potential of being very successful in many different forms of play. So overall, this class has been a great help in learning more about play and the uses it can be to therapy, specifically for children. I have always loved children and want to work with them if possible, and I've always also loved art and the way that the mind works, and have combined those into trying to become a counselor or therapist that uses art through my therapy. So trying to reach, that's making all of the connections of trying to reach kids that are developing, and I want to help them grow while they're going through many different things. And therapeutic play would be a great way to use that. And I would specifically try to connect it with art if I can. If they aren't connecting with it, then we can find many different other forms of play. But I feel that art is something that everyone has the capability of doing in some shape or form, and that is a form of play, in my opinion, and just a way to expand the mind and the body on what one may be going through. And this is how I would like to apply what I learned in this class in my future career. So yeah, that is my final play portfolio reflection, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you. Bye.